What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Ball Sports Network. Thank you guys for the continued support. Continue to hit the like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because I upload every single day. Now, there's more coming out to this Dwayne Haskins getting benched for Kyle Allen story. There was more that meets the eye, apparently. So, obviously, there was, just for a quick recap, Dwayne Haskins, the former first-round pick by the Washington football team, was the starting quarterback. He was the 15th overall pick just 2 short years ago. Was benched by his coach Ron Rivera for Kyle Allen, a guy who is not very good, but whatever. So here's the thing. A lot of people on Twitter was mad because they felt like Dwayne Haskins got short in the stick, and he kind of did. 4 games into a season, it's pretty quick for a new coach to pull the plug on Dwayne Haskins, probably 22? No older than 23-year-old quarterback, but it is what it is. The NFL, it's a business. It's life in the NFL. Not only did he pull the plug on Dwayne Haskins, he demoted the man to the 3rd spot. He ain't the backup. He is number 3. They're going to put Alex Smith out there, who has a bionic leg, right? Who has a reconstructed leg like a freaking android or something, out there before they put out Dwayne Haskins. And I thought that was kind of ridiculous because, once again, Alex Smith has a bionic leg, hasn't played football in 3 or 4 years because of it. So, but there's more that meets the eye that comes to this story. So apparently, the reason why they benched Dwayne Haskins is because he didn't have a terrible game against the Ravens. I mean, I think he completed 32 passes. I think he had career high in passing yards, over 300 yards. Let me see. I'm pretty sure he had over 300 yards passing. He didn't play horrible. I mean, he wasn't great. 71% completion percentage, 314 yards. He didn't have any touchdowns, and they lost the game. But apparently he was a little too chummy with the Baltimore Ravens players after the game. This is a report coming out. It says, see the optics of the situation. Basically, a journalist from Washington named Lake Lewis Jr., who reports on the Washington football team, is an insider for the team, has been covering the team, said that it was more of an optics over his performance. There's more optics over his performance. One of the players and coaches were rubbed the wrong way, the way Haskins' behavior after the loss to the Ravens. They say Haskins was clowning around with Lamar Jackson and other players on the Ravens after the game. And according to Lewis, that bothered a lot of people in the organization. And it wasn't only the reason he was benched, but it definitely contributed to the benching. Now that is interesting because the thing about this league, it's brutal and it's unforgiving. Ron Rivera did not draft Dwayne Haskins. So there's no loyalty. There's no quarterback-coach connection there. There's nothing there. And the fact that Dwayne Haskins wasn't playing that great. His stats this season aren't amazing. His stats last year were not amazing. This season he's thrown 4 touchdowns, 3 picks in three games. 4 touchdowns in 3 games is not good. And the thing about quarterback play, for the most part, I'm not going to say always, there's a few late bloomers, but for the most part, when it comes to quarterbacks, they pop off the screen as soon as you watch them. As soon as you cut the tape on, as soon as you see them win or lose, because it's not always in wins, win or lose, for the most part, I'm not going to say in all cases, but for the most part, when a dynamic playmaking quarterback is on the field, first time you see him, second time, the first couple times, it's okay, he's going to be good. Classic example, Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals, Justin Herbert for the Los Angeles Chargers. We saw them and was like, damn, okay, that's going to work. That is going to work. We saw Lamar Jackson when he got inserted for the Baltimore Ravens his rookie year. It's that can work. That can win us some games. And these guys weren't having 4 touchdowns in 3 games. That wasn't happening. When they play now, when we see Justin Herbert, he got a 5-minute head start before his first start against the Super Bowl champs. And threw for 3 touchdowns. It was that can work. That can work. Joe Burrow, calm, cool, collected. That can work in the league. Well, I ain't talking about college because there's great college quarterbacks. And Dwayne Haskins threw 50 touchdowns in his 1 season starting in college. We're talking about in the NFL. Once these guys hit the field, 1 or 2 games is all it takes. And we know if it's going to work. It was we can win. I'm not saying they're going to be Super Bowl champions and Hall of Famers and all this good stuff, MVPs like Lamar. But Patrick Mahomes, his first start, was like, damn, that's going to work. Like, that kid can play. And we have not seen that from Dwayne Haskins. Now, we haven't had the greatest sample size. He hasn't even played equivalent to a full season. He hasn't played 16 games. He hasn't started 16 games yet. But it's not looking great. He's not popping off the screen like we see Burrow, Herbert, like Lamar did, like Patrick Mahomes did, like Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was a third-round pick, right? Was a third-round pick for the Seattle Seahawks. This is how crazy this is what I mean by it pops off. And sometimes it pops off in practice. He was a third-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks. They had signed Matt Flynn to a nice contract, had signed him in free agency to a contract, and Russell beat him out. Because in practice, they was like, damn, that can work. We can win with that. And all it's leading them to potentially the best quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, they got 2 Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl win. Now, I'm not saying Dwayne Haskins needs to be Russell Wilson, but Dwayne Haskins clearly isn't showing, he's showing a lack of leadership, and he isn't showing the talent that we thought he could display in the NFL. By we, I'm saying me, because I thought Dwayne Haskins would be better than 4 touchdowns, 3 picks in 3 games. I mean, I did. I simply did. I saw him throw for 50 touchdowns. Now, I did have a hesitancy about quarterbacks who only start 1 year in college. Dwayne Haskins was one of those guys. I was hesitant also that Dwayne Haskins is not mobile at all. That is becoming a dying breed in the NFL. In the age, he was drafted in what, 2018? He was drafted in 2018, and he wasn't mobile coming out of college. That is a dying, no, he was drafted in 2019. That is a dying breed in this NFL. The only guys that aren't mobile that are in the NFL were like Brady and Breeze, and they're 40 years old Hall of Famers. Nick Foles, guys who you don't really build teams around. They're not, NFL teams are not building their team around quarterbacks who aren't mobile. It's just not happening anymore. The guys that are coming out next year, Justin Fields can move. Trevor Lawrence can move. Trey Lance can move. Kyle Trask from Florida can move. And Dwayne Haskins came out in the 2019 draft, and he couldn't move. He couldn't move. Now, if you gave him a clean pocket, he was throwing dimes. But outside of that, he couldn't move. So yeah, at the end of the day, Dwayne Haskins getting benched was nothing race-related. He just didn't have it, and he was too chummy after losses. And that, to me, shows a sign of immaturity. And Ron Rivera ain't going for the immaturity. The Washington football team trying to turn a leaf. They can't go for the immaturity. Cal Allen's not very good. He's just a passover. Maybe they're just planning on losing a bunch of games and tanking for Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Ball Sports Network. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.